Today we are going to build one of these hopper cars for Thomas and friends. Also, you can get this, the link is in the description, fully assembled, or get the parts also. There is another link in the description. The kit comes in a box like this. All the parts are easy to follow. They came in separate bags so you don't confuse them. Also, they have some letters so you can identify. There's no instructions, but I will show you how to do it. We're going to use hot glue gun, glue sticks, cutting pliers, super glue, knife, small clamps, and a large clamp. From all these parts, I'm going to start with the longer ones. Easy to follow. We have A, B, and C. So we're going to sandwich these parts starting with A and B. I will begin with the B, and look at where I'm going to put these little drops. So be very careful. If you are using super glue, it's very sticky, it's very strong, so this should be done under adult supervision. Now don't worry about these are kind of bended. They're gonna straighten it up once you put them together. There. Use the little clamps to keep them in place. If you don't have these little clamps, you can always use your hands, but be very careful. Do not put your hands right in the glue. We have A and B together, and now we are going to put the C to make the beam. Like I said, you can hold it with your hand using the super glue, but I have access to these little clamps, so it will be much easier. Also, if you want to make it easier, you can use this little piece of wood, these little planks, make a sandwich, clamp it. This time I can use the longer clamp. Like I say, part A and part B go first, like that. You can't miss it. You cannot put this side with part A. We completed the 4 main columns or supports that go in here for the tower. We have 2 bags that they might look the same, but the parts are, one is longer than the other one. So we're going to start with either one. We have G, H, I, and J. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with these 2 H, and we take 4 G's and make a beam like this. Now we have completed the 2 little beams with the parts H and G. We have part G, I, and J. To make it easy, we start with G and I. We put them together, and then J should go like this. Don't forget to use the little clamps and give a little squeeze. So now you can see what I mean when I say the longer, wider part goes to the back at the opposite side of the lines on this panel. We completed our 2 panels. In this case, I go with a very tiny drop, just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we put this tiny little piece of wood like that. That looks much better. What do you think? With the next bag, we are going to do the same steps we just did. We have parts D, E, F, and K. So I'm going to start with 4 D's and 2 E's and make a little beam. Now we are done with the parts D and E. We have these little beams. And I say beam, I didn't say beam. So the next parts should go like this. D, F, and K. So I'm saying D goes with F to make the panel, and give a little squeeze, not too much. I don't want you to break the panel. K part, remember the longer or wider part goes to the back, so we're going to assemble like this. give a gentle squeeze. I prefer go to the end of the panels. Done. Alright, we have our two panels, and then we're going to do the same operation as the previous panel with this tiny piece of wood on the lines. So these are the parts we just done, and we are going to keep them in our bag so you don't confuse them and mess up the assembly. We have in these little bags, and we're going to do the same as with the beams, but these are going to be a very small beams. So these are not labeled, but are very easy to follow. Just put them together, make a sandwich, and you're good to go. Now we're going to put some glue. Now with the glue in the parts, don't forget to give a little squeeze with these little clamps. This is how these little beams should look, like in an angle. Now this is the time we are going to use our knife, and we need to cut this little part here to make it flat. I don't know if you can see there. This sticks out a little bit, and it's not going to look good in our model right here. So I'm using a piece of wood, and I'm going to cut in an angle very gentle. Make sure your knife is sharp, or it's going to leave a very bad mark. There, you can see there. It is a little bit flattened. It's just this part. Flip it, and then we gotta do the same on the opposite side. And we do the same for all the parts. We are done, but we might still need to do a little touch up later. The last two bags are for the funnel. I'm gonna say funnel on our hopper and the platform. We gotta begin the assembling of everything. We're gonna take the longer parts first. So in this case, on our bag is the F panel. We're gonna start with the F panel and the beam with the E letter. It is very important at this step that you need to assemble as shown. Now this part goes here, and these four little holes should be on the back. Now let's put some glue and put this panel and the beam on the main beam. In this case I'm going to put some glue on here and over here and here, and straight to the beam. Remember, this goes like that. Squeeze it. So I'm getting help with this large clamp, and give a little squeeze to keep these parts very tight. Same goes with this beam. Remember, I already put some glue on it. Our next step, we're going to put glue here, 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 and this beam is important. Remember, goes like that. See this? 1, 2, 3 marks instead of 4, 5, 6, 7. It should go like that. So with the clamp, I give a little squeeze, as I said before, so they will be tight. We are going to repeat the same steps with the same parts that were in our bag, the large bag with the F panel and the E beam, and we're going to use the large beams again. We have the two walls ready. Now we can open our bag with the other smaller panels and beams, and we're going to start turning this, flipping this. We're going to start flipping, and this goes like that. Remember, this wide area, this wide beam should go like this. But let's put some glue. Now with the glue in, we just align the parts in the holes. Easy. It is important to use a clamp to keep the parts very tight, otherwise it will be crooked, it will look crooked when you finish your product. Remember, this is the exterior, the inside. Don't forget to give a little squeeze. Now the short beam, or I should say the edge beam. Here is the last part. You just put this aligned with the tabs and the holes. You can see what I'm doing, the opposite side. They're excellent. Gentle, gentle to keep it in place, very tight. It is looking good. Excellent. Alright, next we add some glue to both ends of these angle beams, and we are going to align it like that. Hold it for a couple seconds, and voila. Same for the opposite side. With glue, hold it for a few seconds. I'm talking about super glue. Other glues take so long, so I'm talking about using super glue. The other side is much better because the beam goes inside the main beam, or should I say the main column or support. So make sure you squeeze it inside the main column or support. And we repeat the process for other walls, and we're done. The next bag comes with their platform. Now it's been designed with small platform, and this square ring, it is important to assemble the funnel. So okay, I'm gonna grab my square ring and glue it to this piece of wood so we can assemble the funnel. Once we glue this square ring to the wood, we are going to align these triangle shapes in the square ring like that. Our parts should look like a pyramid. Now we're going to add some hot glue. Okay, I'm going to cut the edges to make a sharp corner with a knife like that on both sides. This step needs to be done very careful. I recommend this to be done by an adult under adult supervision. Oh, that looks good. I'm going to cut just a little bit on the corners, so this part should fit in our tower very tight. So I'm not cutting the video. See, that's how it should look. But before that, we need to put these parts together with some glue. They assemble just like that. There's no way to miss it. Alright, first step. Don't forget to give a little squeeze. Next one. And our last part. If you come this far now, it is the last step to put the funnel together. I'm adding some hot glue around. Make sure you align it. You might leave it like that, or I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue. You might leave it like that, or just cut it with a knife and make it even. I'm going to use my knife so it will look much better. Can you hear the train? One block away. I like to paint the parts like this before I put them together. Once you paint them and put it in place, you can add one drop of glue here, one drop of glue here, and here in each corner one drop of glue, and it will keep it in place. See how tight it is on the back, on the bottom? And at the end you just put the platform. We're gonna put the legs in the platform, pressed hard, press down hard, and it keeps in place. Now you can add glue if you wish. So that's how I assemble this tower. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want to make your own hopper tower, the link is in the description.